Hey everyone. I apologize for being a really long time. Uh, I am literally barricaded to this room right now, with furniture all about the room as uh, the house has been getting renovated literally the last like I think it's going on 6 or 7 weeks now, and it's really, really trying. Um, I'm not complaining, but it's really hard to live this way. Um, Hopefully, fingers crossed, it might be done by Christmas. I'm really hoping it is. Because everything has to like get moved to like one room or several rooms while they're going in there and tearing apart one room. So I wanted to anyway, I can't put this computer down on a desk. The other apps take up too much, what do you call it, on the computer. It gets overheated, and that's why I thought I would just do Zoom and upload this to the channel. I'm sorry I look like a person from the wild right now, a feral human. Please bear with me. At least I'm here with you, and I really, really wanted to get this out to all of you, um, who right now I know uh are struggling with, you know, you're struggling right now with this time of year, and it's a lot. It's heavy. Uh oh, and by the way, uh this headboard that you see behind me will also no longer be a part of, usually when I do these videos from my bed, it's quite interesting what comes out because I'm just like in the comfort of my own bed, and you guys have seen several of those videos, but there will be no more headboard. I'm getting rid of this bed, so this will probably be the last time you see it. It's pretty symbolic that I'm getting rid of it. um it needs to go, and a lot of things in this house need to go, that I found. It's interesting. You don't think you have as much stuff until you realize that you have a lot of stuff. And then when you see it all, it's like, oh my God, I need to get rid of this stuff. But anyway, okay, there's something that I want to share with all of you, that I want to teach not only myself in the years to come, even more so, but I also want to teach all of you. And that is the one thing I've recognized, that the narcissist comes in our lives, specifically each and every one of these narcissists, which, as you guys know, I believe is a demon at play. It's you know my client, who, God bless her today, she made the most amazing statement. I had to write it down. And she said in our session today, she said, you can't heal from this unless you realize it's spiritual. And my God, is she forever right? And she is science, you guys. She's you know, she's like pretty much a doctor, and she has a lot of education behind her. She's also a professor. Um she's amazing. And anyway, she has realized this throughout her journey, and all the science that, a lot of folks, it's funny, I love when people come to me. Sorry, I'm going to be probably looking around a lot because I can't stand to look at myself right now in this camera. It's pretty pathetic. Sorry that you all have to look at me, but I don't want to look at me right now, so just let me my eyes wander, okay? um so it's interesting because a lot of people that come to me, they're science majors, that, they got into science. They're all science based, and then one day it really hits them that this is so much greater and bigger than that. and you can't not see it anymore. Everybody says this to me, Tracy, it's so crazy. Like once you see it, you can't not see this anymore. And in our session today, you guys don't realize, but like I get the chills a lot of time when you guys tell me stuff, because I know exactly what you're describing. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly where you're at. And I know it's like what we were talking about in worship today, my worship group. We were describing, for many of you, and excuse me if I jump all around the place, but I'm going to make a lot of points in this video tonight. So just I'm sorry, I'm exhausted, and just let me try to do this. Try to follow me. If somebody was to ever ask me, why are you a believer? Why are you a Christian? Why do you believe? I don't think that that's a simple answer. I don't think that I can answer that in just like one or two sentences or even a video. It's like an innate thing that is inside of you. You can't describe it. It's what they call having faith. You can't really describe that. And it's the same thing. It's the same kind of thing when you discover that the DSM-5, the DSM in general, now we're on to, I think 5. I think it's on 5. I don't know. Pay attention. You guys know what that book is. That's a psychology book for all the disorders, all the things that could possibly be wrong with someone. You realize that book doesn't do any justice in dealing with a narcissist, because there's so much more to this. And the only way is that it's like an innate thing that and when you know, and you really can't even describe that to people. Excuse me. And then when you do try to describe what you're seeing, what you're knowing, and what you experience to people, they think you're nuts. So it's like only to this small group of people in community on the internet can we talk about that. Yeah, narcissists have a demon inside of them, and it's quite evident, and it's just something that you can almost feel now that you've learned about this. You can feel it with different people who come in and out of your life. You can see it inside of them. So all this to say, when people come to me and they have the same experiences, it's just furthering everything that I already know to be true, everything that you guys are realizing too. It's like, wow, like you read the comments and we're not alone here. This is a collective experience that we're all having, and we're seeing, and we're waking up, and we're talking about it. Oh yeah. Well, having said this, I realized something major in the last few weeks that I had to get on here tonight and share with all of you, because it's just too big. It's just too big to not share. And that is what the narcissists, and for many of us, it's narcissists plural. We've had the same demon chasing us since we were kids. It is the same exact spirit, just manifesting itself through different people throughout your lifetime. And it's all collectively doing the same thing with you and I. And that is that it is trying with every force within it. It's like, the Energizer battery bunny that you used to see in the 80s and 90s commercials. It just keeps going and going and going and going. That's what the commercial was. And that's what these things are. And what it's ultimately trying to do to each and every one of us is it is trying to make our God-given spirit not that. I think everyone that's born, I'm probably going to get a little teary-eyed with some of the stuff I'm going to talk about tonight, but, and I apologize, but it's just heavy. It's heavy. It weighed so heavily on my heart as I was thinking about this. I think all children are born God's children. Now, if you want to ask me how I became a believer, that's probably a whole separate video in itself of how that really came to be and how I really did know that this is real. Like, God is real and the devil is real. Okay. I've got some really interesting stories that I will share with all of you on how that came to be for me. What these beings, these demons, are trying to do is they're trying to take away your God-given spirit, which ultimately means that your positivity, because if you think of the polarities of what it takes to be a narcissist, I talk about this, it's a lack of God inside of somebody. It's the ability to remain negative. It is negativity. If you learn about energy and negativity at its finest, that's what these things are doing. And so it wants to take away your happiness. It wants to take away your sense of humor. For many of us, like, that's like a gift from God that we got. And its ultimate goal is to mess with your own individual God-given spirit. And if it can do that, and if it can leave you trapped in a place of bitterness or in a place where you are not the way you were before, or you're not some better evolved person than you were, then it's got you. I want you to wake up tonight and realize what it is I'm saying. This is a battle. This is a spiritual fight. And I know you guys, I'm right with you. This economy is scary. It is downright scary. People can't even see their way through the amount of credit card debt they're in right now. It is bad out there, you guys. And I'm hearing it, so much from people around me, people that I know that are the economy right now is horrific. I've never seen anything like it. We are all going through it. We are all feeling this. Most of us in most countries, and even some countries that like 6 months ago were like, no, I don't really know what you're talking about. They have come to me recently and been like, yep, you're right. It's really bad. Things are bad. People can't pay their bills, including us. This is getting bad. So I understand that, like, we can't be positive, happy-go-lucky, chummy 24/7. But there is a way that each and every one of us can find a way to remain positive in the path of adversity, in the path of our enemies really trying to own in and take us down, because that's the big fight. They want to keep you trapped, bitter, angry, not able to adjust anymore, giving up, not fighting back. And some of you will say, well, Tracy, it's easier said than done. Oh, trust me, I know. You guys don't realize, I've been on 5 years now, not counting the years I was starting to really learn about narcissism, but 5 years now on this channel and taking clients as my full-time career. I went full-time, really full-time, without any other jobs in 2020. But I started to take clients and started to get a roster in 2018. And you know, if you think for a minute, it's been 5 years that I don't still have to do work and sit down with myself and do a lot of the exercises I'm teaching you to do in sessions, that's really going to rework your brain. Because people don't realize, yes, we could talk spirituality all day long, and I know that's like 90% of it, but your brain takes a huge hit from all of this as well. Your brain has to relearn how to think again. And I've done enough research to understand how that's going to happen and what you need to do to rewire that brain that starts to think that you're not worth this and you're not worthy of good things and good people, and all kinds of ways that the narcissist has really tried to change who you are. And that's what I'm getting at in this video. It's work, you guys. It's hard work. And you can't give up. You can't just say, oh, I've learned all I'm going to learn in this field of narcissism now, and it's over for me. I know, and I'm good. No. I think the biggest battle that you're going to be up against is what I'm describing in this video tonight, which is to remain your positive, loving, caring, considerate, trustworthy, uh, funny person. No matter who comes in your life, craps all over that and takes off, or whatever it is that they're doing to you that's so wrong and so unfair, and words can't describe. The biggest win here is that you get up, you dust yourself off, and you're like, yeah, you know what, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And such a weird statement. uh but this whole concept has got to get through to all of us that this is how we're going to win, you guys. This is winning. It might take you years to get him or her back, but I always say this: you won't get him or her back. You're going to get a different, better version of that person. But you can't give up. You can't give up. You can't remain in that place of bitterness and anger. You gotta, at some point, let go of all that. So over Thanksgiving, when I was growing up, my father had an RCA camcorder. Okay. My grandfather, who owns a bunch of businesses, bought this for my mom and dad in the mid 80s. Okay. So I was 5 years old when my father and mother received this camcorder from my grandfather. And throughout the years, my father did not miss a single thing in my brother and I's lives. Everything is on VHS tapes. Everything you can think of, every recital I was in, every competition I was in, he videotaped us in the living room dancing, doing family events, just even going to, when he first got the camera, he was so excited to have it. Like, not a lot of people had this at the time. It was like a big deal. And he would take it to, like, when we would just even visit our aunts and uncles, and when I go to my grandparents' house, now for years my mother couldn't watch this because my her mom and dad are on these videos, and it's really hard to watch that until you're ready to see that, until you've healed. And so I think it's probably been about 20 years since I viewed these tapes, and I've seen them all. I remember like rewatching them when I was a kid and stuff. You remember all of them. But the one they put in was of 1986. And my dad had just recently got the camera. He only had it for probably about a year. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I had so many emotions because my meme and Pepe are in there, and aunts and uncles that I loved who are no longer here, that had a big influence in who I became as a person and in my life. And I was 6 years old, and the video went on for like an hour and a half. These videos could hold a lot of time on the VHS tape. And I have a different take on a lot of things I saw in these videos now that I know what I know about a lot of things, which I'm not going to get into. But the one thing that happened was when the video was done and we hit the rewind button. You got to rewind the VHS tapes to keep them fresh. You got to rewind it back to the beginning. And as it's rewinding, I looked at my mom and dad because we watched it together, the three of us. This was after Thanksgiving. It was my mom's idea. She was ready to look at this stuff. She wanted to look at some of these. I looked at my mom and dad and I said, was I always like this? And they looked at me and they said, like what? And I said, there wasn't one video of me. There wasn't one, didn't matter what we were doing. If I was in the living room, or I was at my aunts and uncles, or I was at one of my brother's like Boy Scouts events, or one of my own events, a birthday party, I was smiling and I was laughing and I was happy and I was joyous and I was trying to make people laugh, making faces even back then. And I forgot that. I don't remember that. So I asked them, was I always like this? And they came right to the table with, yes, you were always like that. Always. I said, really? I said, well, even like high school and like, I said, yeah. And I think the reason I have tears right now is because I think sometimes some of our own memories get tainted of ourselves when we have been with narcissistic, abusive people. They ruin our own memory banks in some regard. And I've heard this said about myself. I thought about it. I really thought about it. And I thought about the people that have said this throughout all the decades of my life about me. And it's funny when they're talking, I think they're talking about another person. It feels like they're talking about somebody else, because that can't be me. Haven't I become this bitter, angry, scorched human through all the years of narcissistic abuse? Isn't that me? Isn't that my identity now? And it's like this harsh, hard realization comes through, like, no, it is not. And yes, and let yourself watch those VHS tapes, Tracy. Let yourself watch all of them. Go back and study who you are, who God created, who you are as a human being, as an individual. All of you, I want you to think about this. And for some of us, we were going through things as kids we didn't even understand, and yet we still had that spirit. We were going through things that a lot of things shouldn't have happened as we were kids, and we still had that spirit. And the point of this video tonight is to get all of you, this is the most important part I think we have to learn in all of this, is that we can still remain positive and happy and laugh no matter what it could possibly be that's going on around us. Because I think, quite honestly, that's the only thing we're called to do. We can't crumble in the faces of our enemies and all the things that have happened, because then they win, you guys. And it's not about whether they win or lose. It's about whether we win or lose in our own spirit, and trying to figure this whole thing out. That's called life here, and you know what, guys, there's going to be one thing I'm going to bring it on, that I want to bring on more in the year to come, is who I really am at my core, who I know I really am. Just like I knew I had a relationship with Jesus when I was a little kid, and I couldn't describe that to you. It's hard to even describe that to you now, but it's something I know to be true without anybody coming and saying this, that, or the other thing. I just know I have a relationship as Jesus is my Lord. He's my Lord. Might not be yours, but he's mine. And he's breathed life into me and into all of you. And there's something much bigger here we have to look forward to long after he takes us home, which I wrote a poem about. And I thought, I actually wrote a song. It's a song, and it could be a poem, I guess, but I wrote the song. And I don't know if my brother will be interested in putting this on our next album, or it's something I'm going to do on my own. But I thought, at any rate, tonight, for many of you going through loss, many of you trying to come up with answers to things we don't quite understand, I thought that I would read this to you and share this with you, because it might give you some comfort right now during these holiday times, and to get you to think about what's coming after this, because a lot of times we don't think about the kingdom, don't think about what this is all for, because there's something, I believe, so much greater we're doing all of this for, that we're going to get to. So allow me to share this with you tonight. I called this the crossover, and I'll read it like it was supposed to be meant for a song. And I'll continue to read the chorus like it's supposed to, like I had pictured the song. It's probably going to be a long song, as you'll see, but maybe not when it's all said and done. The crossover. It said we will one day finally be home, a feeling like no other, where we'll never be alone. Our loved ones who have passed will greet us with a smile. Our pets come running toward us. They've been waiting for a while. They said the flowers and the colors are like nothing we have known. In this place we can finally call home. The chorus is, his face too bright, but his robe you will see. His hand will reach out. Am I worthy? There is no more pain. There's no getting older. This is it. You've reached the crossover. The joy you'll find here is like none you've ever known. The flowers always bloom. The dogs have endless bones. Your true soul shines like it was designed. There is no darkness, only peace of mind. There are no worries, no wants for a thing. You wait for the others to join you to sing. Choruses, his face too bright, but his robe you will see. His hand will reach out. Am I worthy? There is no more pain. There is no getting older. This is it. You've reached the crossover. The bridge, I wrote the bridge to say, all I know is everything leading here was worth the road. The road it takes that led me, the only place I'll ever care to be. So is this what all the rest was for? Am I finally here with my Lord? You wouldn't cry or even think it over. You'll be with me too when you cross over. No matter who goes before who, let's remember where we're headed to. This life we knew was very short, and this other place is forevermore. I'll be waiting for you, or you'll be ready for me. But either way, we'll finally be together in this magical dome. We'll know we finally made it home. His face too bright, but his robe you will see. His hand will reach out. Am I worthy? There is no more pain. There is no getting older. This is it. You've reached the crossover. Well, guys, that's really all I had for you tonight. You know, people have all these videos about getting revenge on the narcissist and things of this nature. That is the biggest revenge, as you can see, of what I talked about today in this video. I know that this realization has truly helped me these past few weeks, that I'm like literally losing my mind with this house being torn from the roots. And it's bringing up a lot. It's kind of weird. It's very symbolic. This is the house that my grandparents basically raised me in, because I lived across the street from them. And a lot is coming to the surface. And very symbolic. So I hope you all know that this word spiritual has such a deep, innate meaning. It's within you. And I hope a lot more of you can cross over, if you will, to that concept that this is so much greater and bigger than anything else that anyone's saying or could possibly teach you. You're going to teach yourself, is what's going to happen. And I wish and hope that for all of you. And I love you guys very much. Miles is right at my feet over here. I'd pan the camera over to show you, but this room is so crazy with stuff all around me. Like I get up in the middle of the night and forgets the stuff is in here. Yeah, it's been a crazy little journey. I fell down the stairs. I'm laughing now, but it really wasn't funny at the time. I got up to go pee in the middle of the night around probably like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And I fell, and I mean, I fell so good down the stairs. I actually have not felt right since. I think I'm all out of alignment, but God is good, and he's gonna fix me, along with possibly a massage therapist when I have some money aside. It's Christmas time. But anyway, I hope this message reaches you the way I wanted it to. And I pray for all of you. In my worship group on Sundays, we pray for all of you. And I'm glad you made it to the channel, and I'm hopeful for what I want to bring to everybody this year. And please stay on board with me, and leave some comments, some encouraging comments, maybe for others to read, or comments of your own experience, what have you. And let's remember keep this positive as we continue on, because that's the most important thing with these narcissists, is your positivity, your sense of humor. You guys, they are funny. I mean, we're not laughing at them. They are setting themselves up. I mean, they're clowns, and it is funny. I mean, that's why I do these funny skit videos, which I plan to do a lot more of that, because I mean, it just needs to be done. This is how we get through, and this is what they don't like. They don't want us to be laughing and being happy in the midst of like the crap that they've put us through. They don't want that. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. And join me on board with that. That's just one of the things that I think a lot of coaches are talking about or doing, and we got to do it. Okay. I am Trace Face, and as always, it's time we face the truth together.